Okay, let me get some ad.
First ideas 2K had for badges.
Because starting this, right, to start this video off, now I'm a pro at Old Dominion University playing 2K for the esports team. So I'm labeled as a pro. But my love for 2K has always been there. I've always played 2K since I was little. My first 2K was 2K12. So that was my first. No, no, no. My first 2K was 2K11. Right. I was young. Right. But I was just playing offline. But it always takes me back. You know what I'm saying? It's always like like a nostalgic thing. So here I'm looking at this video. I know what he's talking about. Right. So certain things. I'm gonna touch on certain things that maybe we miss. But badges been crazy, right? This is a good topic, man. Let's get into it.
Okay, have changed a lot. From the early days where players had abilities, to signature skills that you could buy with VC, all the way to the current games where badges are one of the first things people think about when they make a build. Badges have looked a lot different throughout the years. And today, we're going from 2K12, where the idea started, all
What's
the
his name?
current games where badges are one of the first things people think about when they make a build. Badges have looked a lot different
Hold
throughout the
on.
years. And today, we're going from
Kenny Smith from
2K12, where
Ease.
the idea
Oh,
started, all the way to
oh,
2K20.
let's start there, right? Badges. The builder has became so crazy in 2K. Like it's absolutely insane. Like back then, like you gotta remember, like back then, you ain't had to do nothing but make an inside, an outside, or a balanced player, and everything was fun, right? Obviously, it could go both ways, right? Being on the game now, like all these like archetypes and all the pot, like all the green, the orange, the red, all that, the defense, like it makes the player more realistic to play with, definitely. But we're talking about on a more fun standpoint, like having a game that's just more fun to play. We're definitely gonna sit here and talk about the 2K14s, the 15s, and the 16s of the world, and the 17s too, because it was still basic. You know what I'm saying? You just had your player do this, but realistically, still in 17, you could have a shot creator. The shot creator could still do everything, right? So I say, in my opinion, the game was way more fun when it was basic, right? But at the same time, realism in this game is amazing. Like it's absolutely amazing. The time that they put in to all of these different type of, you don't have to make a player that's one, two, three dimensional. You can make them like any way that you want, and that's the amazing thing about it. So yeah.
26 to see how much badges have evolved and which 2K had the best badges.
We talking about badges.
To see where this whole thing started, we have to go all the way back to 2K12. 2K12 is where we saw one of the first ideas 2K had for badges. They were called abilities, and they worked a little different than badges do because they were tied to how well a player could perform a certain move. There were different categories for things like shooting, layups and dunks, dribbling, and even post moves. So certain players could have similar
Hold on.
ratings
Let's go back. All right. Let's look at this.
because they were tied to how well a player could perform a certain move. There were different categories.
Let's look at this screenshot right here. Right. I'm pretty sure that this is 2K12, if I'm not mistaken. This is 2K12. Yeah, 60 overall. 60 overalls back then were like 99 overalls. Let's be honest. They're like 88. But it was acceptable because you know how long it'll take you to go from a 35 or a 40 overall all the way to a 60, unless you had a cheat engine. But that was 2K11, so I don't even know if 2K12 had a cheat engine. But you know how long that took? Insane amount of time. It took an insane amount of time. Like even now, like I'm about to sell my 360, but even now when I play, like, and I'm just bored. Like, it's like looking back, it's kind of like the players could do more of the lower overall, but it's kind of like it's kind of hard to enjoy because I'm ass. Like, I'm terrible.
For things like shooting, layups and dunks, dribbling, and even post moves. So certain players could have similar ratings, but still feel completely different depending on which abilities they had. You could have a good crossover, but still have a bad spin move. Or you could have a good Euro step, but also not be good at hop steps. And every ability had a
Yeah.
simple rating: poor, average, good, or great. And when it came to my player, you didn't earn these or anything like that, and instead you'd be buying them with skill points. But this was one of the first times 2K let you build your player around specific skills instead of just attributes. It wasn't as flashy as the badge systems that came later on, but you can definitely see where the idea started. And then of course we had 2K13. 2K13 is where abilities turn into signature skills. Instead of 2K12
Well,
having specific move
hope he
ratings, 2K13
hope in this game or in this because I played 2K13 heavy. I hope he talks about how the Euro Step 3 from Acrobat, the Acrobat badge, was insane. Insane. All you had to do was double tap X, Euro Step 3. Step back off one leg, 3. Cash. Real ones know what I'm talking about, but it was insane. If you had Acrobat on a max level, bro, crazy. Crazy. All you had to do was double tap the button. Bro. And on top of that, you have a player with a great three. I don't even know if the three mattered. I just know if you had Acrobat, Euro Step 3, nigga, you're winning the game. Simple.
13 gave players actual name skills. And these stood out way more because they had actual names, icons, and they would even pop up during the game. But this year, they tried to add more balance by limiting each player to 5 signature skills. So unlike today's games, even the best players couldn't just have a skill for everything, even if they probably deserved it. And when it came to my career, you just bought the ones you wanted, upgraded them to level 1, 2, or 3, and then equipped the 5 that best fit your player. And if you played this year, one of the most popular ones outside of Posterizer, Deadeye, and Acrobat was Microwave, because if you had it, you would heat up in games way faster than the average player. And most of
Yeah.
these skills are basically still in 2K
Microwave been in
today,
here
but
for a long
Microwave
time.
has been gone for years, which makes it more memorable when you look at games like 2K13. Overall, 2K13 took the abilities idea and turned it into an actual system that would start to slowly
But it
become the
was.
one we have today. And next
Back
up, we have
shots.
2K14. 2K14 didn't
He didn't
completely
talk
change
about
the
it, but
system. It still used signature
insane.
skills, but this year it got
He
expanded.
can
So
look it
now
up.
you
It's
had ones like
insane.
Pick Dodger for fighting around screens, and Flashy Passer for making flashy passes more accurate. So they were continuing to add new ways to make every player feel different, even in the smaller areas of the game. And that carried over to my career too. Now you were still buying and upgrading them with VC, but now you could equip up to 7 instead of 5. So it's still
Let's talk about this. If you go play 2K14 now, next gen, it's still fun because there is a glitch. Like there's a glitch that you can do where I'm pretty sure you just like you go negatives in VC, it's literally unlimited VC. You could just put your players up to 99. But if you want your player, if you want your player to be good and to be like realistic relative to everybody you're playing against, you make them like an 85 in Hall of Fame difficulty. You'll have amazing fun. If you ever bored,
wasn't a
that's what I
bad
used to
grind,
do.
but you did have more room to shape your player. And the big throwback from this year was the LeBron coast to coast, because since was on the cover, 2K gave him a signature skill built around taking it full court and finishing on the break. By no means was it game breaking, but now it's something that's pretty nostalgic and cool. So 2K14 wasn't some massive change, but it did make signature skills feel more complete before 2K finally started moving toward actual badges. And then badges of course became a thing with 2K15. 2K15 is where signature skills officially
2K15,
became badges, and 2K split them into 2 categories.
oh,
They had
in my
personality
opinion, that's a
badges,
great
which included
2K.
ones like expressive, which made a player show their emotions more, or even spark play, which made a player more likely to
Wow.
make a big play off the bench or out of the timeout. But the ones people really cared about
This
were
one
the
that
badges
started
that actually
making a
changed the
lot of sense.
gameplay and how certain players felt. And that's where you would really start to see the difference.
Like,
Certain ones like ankle breaker
honestly, if you take certain things from every 2K, you can literally make the most perfect 2K. Like, in my opinion, like if you take, let's see, I don't know, it's gonna take a while, but if you take certain things from certain 2K, it's like make a 2K, they got something bad, they fix it, may fix it the next year, then it's something else, right? So I feel like personally, if you take some things and put it into account to make it better, put some things from each game, then you'd make the perfect 2K in my opinion.
were gone, and instead 2K split that idea into more specific badges like Killer Crossover, Step Back Freeze, and Behind the Back Pro. And those badges now had tiers. Instead of level 1, 2, or 3, they were now
Yeah.
bronze, silver, and gold. And when it came to my
Back
career,
when
this is
back
where the
when
badge
gold
grind
was the
really started.
max.
You couldn't just buy badges right
Crazy.
away
Now we
anymore.
got Hall of
Now
Fame
you actually
and
had to
Legend.
earn the bronze tier first.
That's
And you would have to
crazy.
do that by doing certain
The
things, like
fuck is
making
this?
contested shots for a badge like Deadeye.
Tough.
Then after you unlocked it, you could upgrade it to silver and gold with VC. But early on,
I
you
missed the
had
park
no
on the
idea how to
thing,
really
man.
get them. So for a while, you were just playing games, hoping
Hey,
badges popped up, or waiting for someone online to figure out the requirements. Overall, 2K15 wasn't just signature skills with a new name. This was the first year that we actually had to grind to get the badges we wanted. And that's going to bring us to 2K16. In 2K16, badges looked pretty similar at
the whole
first.
time. Let me go back to that. Right, it was really hard to get certain badges, like really hard. Like certain badges, you just could not get. Like for example, when he talked about brick wall, you just couldn't get brick wall, no matter what. Like I don't know what it was, but you just couldn't get that. One I couldn't get was like I couldn't get brick wall to be honest, or chase down artists. I mean, I had a footer. I had a demigod, and I still couldn't chase down niggas. Like, I don't know what it was, man. I don't know.
Personality badges were still here, and the skill badges still went from
This
bronze
was
to
basically
silver
the
and
same.
gold. And on top of that, 2K leaned more into badges actually countering each other.
Yeah.
So if someone had post-scoring badges, a defender with post-move lockdown could help fight against that. So even though the system looked pretty similar, badges were starting to change certain matchups on the court. And when it came to my career, this is where things got more interesting. Because this year, connections could give you personality badges. So if you wanted something like legendary work ethic or even swagger, you had to build connections with certain players. So even though badges in 2K16 didn't really change a whole lot, there were still new ideas and new possibilities. Then of course we have 2K17. In 2K17, badges became even more important because this was the year 2K added Hall of Fame badges. And
This
this
game was
not only
glitchy
made
too.
certain
Like,
players feel
look at
even
this.
more
Simple.
overpowered, but it also
Right there.
changed the way people
Right there. Let's talk about that. Right. This game was glitchy as hell.
you had to build connections with
Glitchy as
certain
hell.
players. So even though
Look,
badges in
first clip you
2K16
see.
didn't really
First
change a
clip
whole
you
lot,
see.
there were still
Right?
new ideas
It's
and new
not crazy.
possibilities.
Curry
Then of
from
course we
half.
have 2K17.
Yeah, but it
In
shows you.
2K17,
It's so
badges
easy to
became
pull
even more
a
important because
crazy
this was
clip
the year
out the
2K
game.
added Hall of Fame badges. And this not
Right
only made
here.
certain players feel
What are we
even more
talking about?
overpowered, but it also
It's so
changed the
easy to
way
do.
people looked at builds. Because now when you were making a build, it wasn't just about looking at the ratings, you were also looking at which badges you were able to get. And
Yeah.
2K17 could get a little confusing. You still unlocked the
Hey.
bronze badge first, and then you could still upgrade it to gold using VC. But to get the Hall of Fame badge, that wasn't something you could buy. You
Grand
had to
badge
keep
in this
doing the
game
same
was
requirement way more
crazy.
times.
Like
So for example,
when you when you first like when you was like grinding my career. When you got that grand badge, oh yeah, my career was over with. I'm done playing my career. Nigga. I'm in the park, I'm in pro am, anything. I'm done playing my career. That's it. I got my grand badge, especially limitless shooter. Oh my gosh.
if you had to throw 300
Don't let me
assists to get
start.
bronze dimer, for Hall of Fame, you'd have to throw around 1,200 in a
Oh
single
my
season.
god.
But this year, they also introduced the Grand Badge, which were basically the first version of a takeover. And once that thing activated, your player could feel pretty ridiculous. But 2K17 also expanded on badges outside of my career, because this year also had park badges. You could only earn them in park, and each badge
Park
had its own
badges.
requirement. Like for Bone Collector, you had to break
It was,
100 ankles
it
in the
was
park. And this was before you
some.
could earn normal badges
I remember
online,
park
so they actually
cards,
felt
bro.
special.
Y'all remember park cards? Park card was stupidest thing. ever. You activate a park card. I felt like the park card didn't even work. Felt like the park card didn't even work. But nigga steady had them park cards on. You see a nigga activate the park card, nigga be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like it just made like it didn't even work to me. Like I didn't even use them bitches like that no more. After I activated my first one, I forgot which one it was. Didn't work. What am I? What, I'm getting my ass whooped, thinking my park card ready to revive a nigga. Oh yeah, I got this park card. I'm ready to start hitting threes, get my ass beat again. Still. Park card ain't do shit for me.
So 2K17 was a pretty massive year for badges. They became tied to archetypes, added the Hall of Fame tier, and even introduced grand badges, which basically set the stage for TakeOver later on. And then things would change again with 2K18. By 2K18, the game was being built more and more around my career. So naturally, most of the biggest badge changes were
Let's play here. 2K18 was not as bad as people think, right? If you had friends that played with you on this game, it was fun. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as people say, right? If you had friends with you, it was fun. A thing that was terrible in this game was progression. See, like this, or the fact that you had to, like, it took so long for your, like, it became a rep system. Like, why is the overall to my player becoming a rep system, right? That's insane. And the fact that they were so greedy, and you gotta buy this, you gotta buy that, you gotta buy hella VC every time you, like, bro, come on, bro. I rep
happening
up,
there too.
and I
2K was
gotta
still
buy
adding
it
new badges like
still.
glue hands, quick
So at
reflexes,
that point, if a nigga don't got no money, right? Say a nigga out here living wild, he don't got no money. He has to buy. He gets he reps up to 88. Nigga don't got no money. Barely be on the game. Rep up to 88. The fuck did he do? He just repped up. You just show him he can get there, but now you gotta pay. What?
and even free
Bro, that
throwaways,
don't make
but
no
the
sense to
biggest
me.
change this year was badge progression. Now, instead of just completing hidden
Progression terrible here.
requirements and just hoping a badge
No,
popped
no,
up,
no,
each
no,
badge
no.
had its own progression bar showing how many points you still needed. And with 2K18 introducing dual archetypes, your badge list now depended even more on the type of player you made. And badge progress wasn't just tied to my career anymore. You could also progress them online now. And if there was a badge you struggled with or just wanted to work on, you could also do drills that specifically focused on that badge. So even though the grind was way longer, at least the game gave you more ways to get them and finally showed you that the grind was moving. And that's going to move us to 2K19. 2K19 still looked
19.
pretty similar to 8.
I never really liked 19 like that. Maybe because I was ass, but I never really liked 19 like that. When I go back and I look at how it looked, it didn't look too bad. I just didn't like the way it moved and stuff. I wasn't really a fan. People say it's one of the best 2Ks. Me personally, I wasn't really too much of a fan. Not gonna lie. But then I was forced to play it because I had nothing else to do. Nothing- But when the demigod glitch came out, I had the most fun of my life. So again, maybe I was ass. Demigod glitch came out though, I was working, nigga.
A lot of the same badge names were still there, and
Working.
the grind was still based around earning progress for each badge, whether it was online or in micro. But this year, the new thing was Takeover. And even though Takeover wasn't technically a badge, it changed how badges felt during the games. Because now, once your player got hot, your best badges could get even stronger. So if you were a playmaker, badges like Ankle Breaker and Dimer could feel even more dangerous. So not gonna lie, 2K19 wasn't really about renaming badges or rebuilding any type of system. It mostly kept what 2K18 already added, but then put Takeover on top of it. Then badges would change a lot again with 2K20, because this was when 2K
Doug Jr., you take it.
Coach, you should run the Customize with Liberty Mutual and Save Hundreds play.
That's not a play.
Okay.
Really, nigga.
added badge points. Instead of grinding one specific badge until it unlocked, you now earned badge points in different categories. So if you were shooting the ball well, you
My opinion on this game, um, it was only good because quarantine became a thing. I was good at it. I was great at it. But because we were forced to be inside the crib, it made this game good. I feel like because this game was a copy and paste, they really got sold. Like they really they really got bailed because this game was a copy and paste of the setting that was in 2K19. They really was lazy, right? So I feel like the fact that we were just stuck in the crib, this game was good because we made fun out of it. That was when Aiden was on the game with Bronny. That's when flight's always been flight, but flight was flight for real. Like it was just a bunch of fun things to watch, and so it's because we was in the crib, bro. The community made it good. The community came together, made it good, and I feel like that's what plays a big part in a good 2K is the community. The community needs to be positive. Now we got Zans, and we got cheaters, we got lag switchers. Ben had lag switchers, cheaters, and sinners, but at the same time, it's terrible. And then we got complainers. Like nothing. Never.
We're building toward earning a badge point for shooting, and once you earn that point, then you could decide where you wanted to put it. So badges weren't just something you unlocked anymore, they were something you had to budget. And this year also changed a lot of the badge names. Limitless Range basically became Range Extender, while Posterizer became Contact Finisher. And 2K also added new badges like Green Machine and Quick Draw, but Quick Draw was easily the most controversial one, because that badge would control the speed of your jump shot. So if you wanted to have a faster release, you would have to spend badge points on Quick Draw, and in a system where every badge point mattered, whenever you made a new build, you would just plan on having enough badge points for that badge. And that pretty much sums up 2K20's badge system. It gave you more freedom, but it also made you pick and choose which badges to use, which kinda killed a little.
Quick draw badge. Quick draw badge on silver. No, on gold. Right. But yeah, the fact that you got to like up your badge, just lower your badge, just put another one on, like that's kind of nice. I feel like that's kind of nice. It's the same thing as like Max Plus twos and stuff, definitely. But this one, like when it was in 2K20, it was just the same. It wasn't the same thing. It was more so you get to like completely take it away if you don't want it, right? If you're making a player ass, you want to put another one on, you do so. Man, that's it. I like
Bit
that.
of the
I
variety.
like
Then
that
we
part of
moved
the
to the
game.
next gen consoles with 2K21. This year, Quick Draw was gone, and jump shot
Well, this
speed
is
was
a
moved back into the
terrible
jump
game.
shot creator. But this year also gets a
2K21 was
little confusing
fucking
because the
terrible.
current gen and next gen versions were
The
completely
the
different.
current
On
gen
current
version of 2K21 was amazing. In my opinion, it was amazing. That's when we started going back to school. But it was amazing, bro. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It was pretty good. It was pretty good, and and also everything was still at its peak. Let's remember that everything was still at its peak, and it was pretty amazing because it was at its peak. Gameplay wise, it was alright. When they added that little bum ass meter, that shit was terrible. Took it off anyways though, but
gen, badges looked pretty similar to 2K20, but on next gen, 2K changed a lot more. Range extender was removed, deep threes basically became the new badge for shooting from curry range. Contact finisher, that was gone too, but in its place, posterizer would make a return. And 2K would also
I don't
add
even want to look
badges
at
like
this trash
blinders
ass
and
shit,
circus
bro.
threes, which became a big part of shooting in the newer games. 2K21 was more about cleaning up the badge list, removing quick draw, and moving the next gen games closer to the badge system that we have today. And then of course we have 2K22. When it came to earning badges in 2K22, it looked pretty similar
This
to
game was
past games.
alright.
And this year, 2K kept adding new badges. You had
I was
finishing
really good at
badges
this
like
game, man.
Limitless Takeoff, and shooting badges like
I was
Sniper,
really good at
Chef,
this
and
game,
Limitless Spot.
and I
So even
had
though some of these were basically new
a dribble
names for
guy.
ideas 2K already had,
I ain't
2K
gonna
was
lie.
still constantly adding more badges
This
to
was
the
still when I
list.
was
And
stuck
this
in the
year
crib.
also added badge
I was like a
loadouts. So once
freshman
you unlocked badges,
in high
you could
school,
switch between
I
different
think.
setups
Yeah,
quicker instead
I
of
think I
just
was a
changing
freshman
every
going to my
badge one
sophomore
by
year.
one. And that's really what 2K22
Yeah.
was. It didn't change badges too much, it just gave you more of them, split a few old ideas into new ones, and made them easier to swap around. And that's going to lead us to 2K23. 2K23 is where badges started getting more complicated, because on next gen, 2K added badge tiers. And not the badge tiers that we've been talking about the whole time. Badges still had bronze, silver, gold, and Hall of Fame,
Fuck
but
is
now
going
they
on?
were also split into
Fuck
tier
you mean
1,
welcome to
tier 2,
Instagram?
and
Bitch, I
tier
ain't had this
3. And
page
the
for
stronger
years.
badges were usually pushed into the higher tiers. So if you wanted the best badges in a category, you had to spend enough badge points in the lower tiers first. So now it wasn't just about having enough badge points, it was about having them in the right places. But the other big change was core badges. Once you completed a badges challenge, you could core that badge and equip it without costing badge points. So if you couldn't tell, badges were getting a lot more complicated. And 2K23 wasn't just adding more badges anymore, it was also adding more rules to how you could actually use them. Then badges would get worse with 2K24. 2K24 is where badges became pretty controversial again, because instead of just earning badge points and choosing where you wanted to spend them, 2K now centered badge progression around how much you were using certain badges. If you used a badge a lot and played well with it, that badge could improve, but if you ignored it, you could actually lose progress. And this year changed the badge list too, so now you had ones like Bulldozer, Speed Booster, and Right Stick Ripper, but they also removed some pretty popular ones like Menace, and the most broken one, Limitless Takeoff. And to help with badge regression, 2K did add things like floor setters, which let you lock certain badges so they couldn't actually regress. But since you basically needed floor setters to protect your badges, putting them in the season rewards made it feel like another way for 2K to make money. So 2K24, when it comes to badges,
Yeah, let me talk about that. 2K is extremely greedy, just like every other company, right? But when it's coming from a company that you deeply love and you just deep like you grew a loving for, and it wasn't as greedy at some point. Like we know inflation is a thing, bro. But at some point you gotta realize, bro, having a fun game gonna make your game like it's gonna sell, bro. It's gonna sell as long as it's fun, right? But if it's ass and you becoming more money hungry, niggas gonna treat you like they did EA. That's what they gonna do, bro. And like honestly, the game is fun to a certain extent, bro. When you realize just niggas just taking your money every single year, they're taking it crazy. So like they get real greedy. They didn't got we let them slide in that little season pass shit like it's fucking Fortnite. They've been getting real greedy. They didn't got real greedy, and we just let them slide. Let them slide. We need a dude like the dude that was bashing EA for the microtransactions. We need a dude like that for 2K. We need one of y'all niggas that got the 2K logos in the park still. We need one of y'all niggas on the ass. It's a little too late, but never know till you try, bro.
it's really remembered for the badge regression because it constantly made badges feel like something you had to maintain. And that of course leads us to 2K25. In 2K25, after receiving a ton of backlash, they finally got rid of badge regression. But 2K25 also raised the ceiling for badges. For years, Hall of Fame was the top tier badge, but this year, Legend became the new highest tier for a badge. And on top of that, 2K added Max Plus Ones, which temporarily boosted a badge one level higher than it normally maxed out at. So 2K25 made badges a lot less complicated than 23 or 24, and cleaned up a lot of the negative things around them like badge regression, core badges, and even floor setters, while also giving players a new highest tier to chase. And last but not least, we have the current game, 2K26. In 2K26, Max Plus Ones were back, but now 2K added Max Plus Twos. So if one of your badges normally maxed out at Gold, a Max Plus 2 could push it all the way to Legend. But 2K26 also added more badge perks. Takeover Surge could boost your badges when your takeover was fully active, Hot Start could boost your badges early in games, and the Clutch Gene could boost badges late in games. And we can't forget about the build by badges, because now you could pick the badges you wanted, and the game would lock in the attribute
This is a
requirements for
very
you. So you
like
could make your build based on the badges you want. So
complicated builder for
2K26
me. I
didn't
can't
really
lie.
change badges
I
that
just got
much.
my
It was just
mans to
about
do all
pushing
my
the
builds,
badges
to be
further.
honest.
You could boost them higher,
Well, I
and you
did
could
one
make
of
your
them.
player
He's
run them
nice.
from the start now. And that's badges, from 2K12 when the idea first started, all the way to 2K26, where badges have become one of the most important parts of 2K. And now, of course, we ask the most important question. Which year do you think had the best badges? Let me know in the comments down below. Appreciate all of you guys for watching, and remember,
Stay saucy.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar,
Uh, Great video. Amazing time I had on